All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another weekly setups. So last week we did not end up trading again, right? Because and same thing happened last upper week. But this week seems like last week and last upper week we are really setting up for this week's trading, possibly. But let me show you what we have, right? And there's this trade right here. GPBUSD, I might likely take this trade as soon as Monday opens, right? It's very, very likely that is going to happen. So let's go ahead and break down the 20 pairs and find the best pairs we are going to be paying attention to for next week. So first of all, I already mentioned GPBUSD. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to GPBUSD for this new week, right? So two things are going to happen. Either GBP is going to gain strength this new week or it's going to really lose strength, right? So I will show you where the two scenarios are, right? So first of all, GBP let me show you what we have. So first of all, this is the daily time frame. The daily time frame technically is still bullish, right? Technically it's still bullish. We have a strong area of interest, as you can see, but we are at a major resistance level. If you check this resistance level, that's pretty much been respected right here, as you can see, right here, right here, right here. Let me put this part too, by the way. Right, so here is 1, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, and now we are currently at that area right now, right? Now, most of the times when we came to that area, we were still bullish just like this, and then we started selling strongly, right? I mean, that's just one information, but the second information that we have is that as soon as price came back to area, we had an engulfing, right? So there is a daily engulfing candle, and the next day actually was even a rejection candle, which is a inverse doji. I'll show you the best way I'm actually planning on entering this market because I haven't really entered right now, right? I'll just show you the safest way I plan on entering this market because I actually plan on entering this market. Now let's just look at the weekly to see what we have right there. So weekly, if you look at last week, you see that the week prior to that was very strong. Were very strong candles, right, to the downside and to the upside. But this last week was a doji. Now what does doji signifies? It signifies potential reversals, right? It's very textbook candlestick patterns, right? Very textbook. Now coming over to the 4 hour, you look at the 4 hour again, you can see that the 4 hour was pretty much trending bullish. You can tell that from the EMA. And as soon as we got to area of interest, we had this reversal candlestick pattern. As you can see, this is, I've forgotten what the name is, but pretty much you know that it's a candlestick pattern. I think it's like tweezer tops, I think, something like that. Then we had a very strong engulfing to the downside. Now, I'll assume that this right here is a news candle, this strong engulfing to the downside. That's why I will be paying more attention to the 1 hour time frame, which is going to be my entry time frame, and I'll show you how I plan on playing that. So but to the best of my knowledge, 4 hour time frame is actually bearish, right? So we actually need that 4 hour time frame to be bearish for us to be paying attention, and we also need the 1 hour to clearly be bearish for me to be interested. So if you look at this right here, you can see that we have a minor support and resistance level right here. We are currently at that level. If we can have a clean break and retest under that level, I think that would be much more safer game plan, right, to sell GPBNZD. I just need signs to show me that this market is going to sell, and if we can actually catch a sell, well, I'll start targeting 1:2 first. 1:2 might be around this level, and if it gets to 1:2, I'll decide to hold for longer for a potential 1:5 risk reward ratio, right? So that is the first pair I'll be paying attention to for this week. I don't expect you to pay attention to this pair if you don't think it's good enough. It's just something I like. I have seen happen before, right? And I'm likely to enter this trade again. So that's just the first market I'll be paying attention to for this new week. All right, so the next pair is going to be GBPUSD. Now, I need to make something very clear. GBPUSD these last weeks, we have avoided 2 losses already, right? We have avoided 2 losses already. So I don't know what's wrong with GBPUSD. It has given two false signals so far. Now I'm going to be attempting it again this week, right? Let me show you what we have. So first of all, this is the daily time frame, right? You can see that we have multiple rejections from this particular area of interest. So we are not going to be deleting it. It's just I'm still going to be using the same area of interest. So this one right here is one rejection. If I go over to the left, you can even see more, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, multiple rejections from that area of interest, right? Now on the daily time frame, we can clearly see that this market structure is bearish. Now, all we needed was a retracement back into this area to sell, right? And this candle actually retraced all this to this area. Same thing with this candle. Maybe that's why we had the false signal. Now, price is currently at that area, so there's a high chance that we might actually sell this new week, right? Now, let's go over to the weekly time frame. Now, if you look at the weekly time frame, you can clearly see now that the weekly time frame, this week was clearly a retracement, right? So it was clearly a retracement. This week was a retracement candle. Now, since we have had a valid retracement on the weekly time frame, let us see what the 4-hour time frame is going to tell us. Now, if you come over to the 4-hour time frame, you see that this right here was where we had the break. We are waiting for a retracement around this level to potentially sell. Apparently, we did not get the entry at that time, right? So that's probably why we not sell. But there was another entry here on the 1-hour time frame, but I don't think it was safe, right? And because I believe CPI was coming out, and you can see that CPI actually went in the opposite direction. So that is the only reason I not dropped that signal on the Telegram channel like I usually do, right? Because of CPI, I do know that CPI was probably going to come out bullish. I was too skeptical to actually drop that trade. Now, this is what we have. Coming over to the 1-hour time frame, let me show you what we have. We are now at the area of interest again for the third time, right? As you can see, this was the first time, this was the second time. Now we are at that area again for the third time, and we like this. We like when we are seeing slowdown right at area of interest, and I like multiple what do we call it, reaction from that area. What I mean is multiple structures, so that we can know where we will have the break and retest from. Now we'll simply be playing this game plan, right? We'll be playing this game plan where we want a break, a retracement, and an engulfing to sell. Now we are simply going to be counting this as a structural point, so that if price actually have this break and retest, it's actually going to be a bearish market for us to be selling, right? Now coming over to the 4-hour again, I want to show you guys this trend line. All right, now on the 4-hour time frame on GBPUSD, you can see that this particular trend line. Let me explain how long this trend line has existed. So this trend line, right, 17 days trend line, and it's an inverse trend line. You can see that you had rejection from here, same thing around this level, multiple rejection, and right now we are having a rejection of that trend line too as well. So we have multiple reasons to be looking for sales until we see otherwise price action, right? So on Monday, as soon as we have this break and retest and engulfing, if you can get that, then we'll be interested in actually selling GPBUSD, right? Apart from that, price might actually start breaking above structure and going to the upside, then we'll no longer be interested in selling GBPUSD, right? So that is that. GBPUSD is the next pair that we are going to be trading next week. Let's see, the next pair we have is GBPAUD. Now, GBPAUD, I think I dropped this trade on YouTube here, right? Which I wasn't really planning on taking eventually because price was slowing down, but I decided to just enter in low risk because it had a very high potential. So I'm not really mad about the loss. I'm not really even supposed to be doing that anyways. So let me show you guys what we have. Daily time frame, as you can see, what we were simply waiting for is this right here. This is actually our original game plan, right? We need a retracement back into area, which has not really happened right now, to buy, right? Until price gets back to area, we'll be looking for reasons to continue buying GPPAUD. But for right now, we are still going to be sitting down and waiting for opportunities to actually buy GBPAUD. Next pair we have NZUSD. All right, NZUSD. We also have the retracement back into area of interest. We are looking to potentially sell NZUSD, right? So let me show you guys what we have. Daily time frame, we have a very strong area of interest. Market structure is currently bearish, right? Weekly time frame, let's see. Now, weekly time frame, you can also see that the market structure is also bearish. So we have two time frame in sync, which is very valid, right? And now let's see how the 4-hour looks. Now the 4-hour, technically the 4-hour is currently bullish because of this candle. So this right here will be called the higher high, and this right here will be called the higher low. If you can simply have a new high just like this and a break under this low, and then a retracement of that low and confirmatory entries to sell, then we'll be more likely to sell NZUSD if you get the opportunity, right? So let's go over to the 1-hour time frame and see how that will look, right? So let's see. So if market actually opens to the upside first I think, to create that high before the new break and retest. I think it's very similar to GPBUSD basically, right? So if you can just have a break and retest under this low, I think it will be way more that will be a much more better price action for us to take, right? So that is that for NZD USD. I'll be adding it for this week, right? AUD USD next pair. So AUD USD pretty much left us last week. We did not get the opportunity. So I don't even think we are really going to get the opportunity this week because price still has a long way to go to area of interest before you actually start having the sell to the downside, right? So it's not as if it's not going to really play out. It's just that you're not going to. I don't think it's going to happen this week. So I'll not be paying attention to AUD USD this week. NZD card next pair. Let's see what we have there. So NZD card, I was expecting market to buy from here. As you can see, it started buying, but on a 1 hour time frame, we didn't really have the. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Right. So if you look at this right here, I was expecting market to start buying from around right here, which was technically happening, but the retracement, there's no really any clean break, retest, and engulfing for us to buy. See, that's the only reason we missed this trade, right? So right now, let us see what we have. Let's go back to a daily time frame. Now, daily time frame clearly has shown us that price has rejected from this area, but there's also another area right here that you can see. Let me show you guys. There's also another area right here. So this area is currently holding price as resistance right now, right? So because of this resistance, market structure overall direction is actually still bullish. So we can't really be selling from that resistance. So we just have to look for other reasons to continue buying. Now the best reason I'll come up with is still a retracement to somewhere around this level to continue buying, right? So let us see how the 4 hour looks. All right, so the 4 hour time frame technically is still bullish. All right, so here is now the new game plan. I think this will make sense the most, right? To continue buying, we should just continue breaking highs, right? If you can have a break and retest under here to continue buying, will be way more better than actually having that retracement I talked about, right? Because of the 4 hour time frame, because the daily is already bullish and the 4 hour is already bullish. So we should just continue that bullish momentum if you can simply get it. So NZD card, I'm interested in buying next week. If you can simply have that break and retest above this level, I'll be interested in buying. So this is very good. We are having a lot of opportunities for next week because we have basically not seen a lot of opportunities for the past 3 weeks now, right? So that's good. It seems like we are going to be taking a trade next week. JPP JPY. Let's start with the daily time frame. I want to see what we have. So JPP JPY, we're expecting market to sell because market was bearish, but right now seems like market is still bullish, right? So I'll be deleting everything that we have on this chart because right now we are looking for new information on this market. Daily time frame is still bearish, right? It's still bearish, but we are above area of interest. But let's see how the weekly looks. Weekly still has bullish momentum, and the 4 hour time frame also still has, let's see, it's still bullish, right? Market structure is not clean, and we don't have two time frame in sync, right? Because daily is still bearish. That's the only reason we will not be interested in GBP JPY, because weekly is bullish, daily is bearish, 4 hour is bullish. That is not two time frame in sync. We will not be paying attention to GBP JPY for this new week. Next pair we have is NZD JPY. Now NZD JPY, let us see what we have for this week. So I'm deleting all these things. So we'll still be using the same area of interest because it's very clean. There'll be no need to delete it. So let us see the market structure right now on the daily time frame is bearish, right? Let me show you guys. It's a very tight one, but let me show you guys. So this right here is the higher high, as you can see, and this right here is the higher low. If you look very closely, you can clearly see that price actually shifted bearish right here, which makes this the new lower low, and somewhere around here the new lower high. Now because of this, market structure is actually bearish, right? Okay, let's go back. So market structure on the daily time frame is actually bearish. Now let's see how the weekly is looking. Weekly time frame is actually bullish, right? Weekly time frame is actually bullish, and now the 4 hour time frame is currently let's see, it's currently bullish, right? If I was going to force any market or any trades on this market, I'll still be looking for buys on this market because that's what makes sense the most, right? If you can just have a clean break and retest above here, right? Well, can just have a clean break and retest above here, we could actually potentially buy all the way to this structure point, which is the daily high, right? Which is this high right here. So make a decision on if you want to buy or sell this market, but I'll just be keeping it close. I just want to see how it plays out. I believe it will buy, right? But again, because the daily is bearish, I will not be paying so much attention to this market. CAD JPY next pair, let's see. All right, CAD JPY. Um, First of all, I like this market structure. It's clearly showing bearish signs, but let us see what the daily is saying now. So daily time frame is actually currently bearish, right? So daily is bearish. The area of interest you can get will be this one right here, right? So I would like it to cover this low right here. The reason is so that we need more market structure to the downside, right? So if you look right here, you can see we have one rejection, two rejection, three, four, five, six rejection. Now we just need at least three rejections to consider this an area of interest, and you can already see that we have six, right? So that is a very valid area of interest first of all. Now weekly time frame, let's see what the weekly is saying. Weekly time frame technically is still bullish, right? So I'll show you why. This right here is still the higher high because it's the highest point, right? Higher high. And if you look right here, this will be the higher low for this market. Price has not actually broken below that low, right? Now we might still be looking for sales on this market, right? Because of the daily, but we'll be working with the daily in line with the weekly and waiting for price to actually shift this low, right? Because if we have a game plan where price actually shift this low, it means that weekly will automatically turn bearish, right? So let's go over to the 4 hour to see what we have. 4 hour time frame is now having bearish signs. Now um you know what is the characteristics of a bearish market is where we have lower lows and lower highs, right? So as you can clearly see, we are clearly breaking lows. It simply makes sense for us to be looking for sales on this market. Now, there's also something I do not like is let me be sure what I'm saying. Okay, so there's also a very high chance that price could actually start reversing to the upside from here. The only reason is because I'm seeing it before. I'm seeing it here. As you can clearly see, price was actually under area of interest at this point, but we had a rejection to the downside. So what will make more sense, right, is for candlesticks, not wicks, right? So let me explain what I'm trying to say. This right here was price coming to the downside and all that, right? But he actually wicked up. It was all of them were all wicks, right? All wicks to the upside, right? So we actually need candlesticks to actually be closing below this low for us to be interested in selling, right? So I don't know why I'm calling other GPY pairs for buyers and then CAD GPY is giving me sell signal, but we are only going to be trading what the market is giving us, right? So this right here, I'll be needing candlesticks to be trading to the downside, right? For me to be interested in selling eventually. So CAD JPY, I don't know if I'm going to add it for this week, but I'm going to be keeping it close to as well. So let us see. Let me look at CAD JPY again. Forgotten. All right, next pair, Euro AUD. Let us see what we have. All right, Euro AUD, very similar price action to GBP AUD, right? Again, we are still going to be looking for a retracement back into this level to buy, which has not happened all up to now, right? So I don't even think it's going to happen this week, but I'll just be keeping it on the sidelines to see what happens, right? So next pair we have Euro USD. All right, Euro USD. You can see that we have at least 4 rejections from this area of interest. This is the daily area of interest. If I extend it over all the way to the left, we'll have more rejections, right? But right now price is currently at area of interest. Let us see what we have. Daily structure is actually bearish. Weekly structure is uh also bearish, right? Weekly structure is also bearish. Now let's see how the forward looks. Forward structure is technically bullish, right? Technically bullish. So we need forward to actually shift. Let's see, is it actually bullish? Yes, actually bullish. So we need forward to actually shift bearish, because I actually like to work with the 4 hour and the 1 hour in taking my trades, right? So if forward can actually shift bullish first, okay, continue bullish first and then shift structure bearish, then I'll be interested in selling Euro USD, right? But let me show you what I don't like on Euro USD. If you look at this market structure right here, you can clearly see that if you are going to be selling from here, our take profit target is supposed to be this line right here, but we have already reacted from that line. So that shows that probably the trade is already gone. That's one information. Well, we'll make a decision on the Telegram channel, but this right here, I'm less likely going to be taking Euro USD next week, right? So that is that for Euro USD. Next pair we have is AUD card. AUD card, to the best of my knowledge, I just assume that AUD card will simply continue bullish, because right now we are above this area of interest. As you can see, this is the daily area of interest. We are currently above that area. All we are going to be looking for is for reasons to continue buying, because clearly that's simply been buying to the upside, right? Let's see, it's going to be the same thing on the weekly simply buying to the upside, and final target is going to be this, right? So let me just mark this high. Let's go to the daily again. As you can see, that is the same high, right? That will be the final take profit target. So I simply believe that we'll continue buying until we get to that level. Now 4 hour time frame. All right, so 4 hour time frame, this trade is very nice. This trade is very, very nice. So as soon as Monday opens, I'll be looking for reasons to actually continue buying all the way to this level, right? Since we did not get, I don't even know why we did not take this trade right here. This right here is the clean. Oh, this is not the 1 hour time frame. Let's go over to the 1 hour time frame, see if we can have reasons to buy. Well, technically, we are supposed to be in this trade from here. We're supposed to be in this trade from here, stop loss here, and take profit right here, which will give us a 1:2.6 risk reward ratio. But we are not on this trade, so let's look for new entries, right? So let's see. Okay, so this trade, I don't know, we'll just be looking for clean break and retest to actually continue buying, but it's going to be more risky because this is actually the real entry, right? Any other entry from above here is not is going to be, we are going to be treating it like a new trade setup, right? So it's not necessarily the real trade, right? It's going to be a new trade setup. So as soon as we just see a new break and retest above here, I'm interested in buying. I'm actually much more interested on USD card this week, right? So this might actually be my favorite pair to buy this week. Euro JPY. Let's go over to the daily, see what we have. All right, Euro JPY, the next pair. Now, Euro JPY daily time frame. Technically, I believe that this market will continue buying to the upside. Now, the reason for that is just mostly because it has been going over to the upside. That just shows that Euro is stronger than JPY over a long given period of time. But right now, let us see what we have. The area of interest we are going to be looking at is going to be this one right here, right? Going over to the left, you can see that is the valid area, because we've had one rejection from this area right here, two rejection, and 3 rejection from that area. So that is the daily time frame. But is the market structure bullish or bearish? It's technically still bullish, right? So the market structure is still bullish. For weekly time frame is also bullish. And then let me show you why it's bullish. Clearly, this is the higher high, and this right here is the higher low. Simply bullish, right? 4 hour time frame. Let's see. Market structure is market structure is technically going over to the upside, but is it bullish or bearish? It's too tight, right? What will make more sense is for us to wait for market to have a break and retest above this high, right? Now, let me explain why, right? Market structure basically is consolidating around here, right? If you have been following this channel, you know that markets, we don't really like buying or selling in consolidation market, simply because we need volume. We need the strategy just simply works on a market that is trending. On Euro JPY is simply to wait for a clean break, retest and engulfing to buy around this level. Now, the reason is because we now need a direction. From a consolidation, we need price to actually start gaining momentum to one side, right? And from our top-down analysis, it shows that there's more momentum going to the upside. Overall direction is also to the upside. So that's why we are looking to continue buying to the upside, right? So, but we just need the momentum to start gaining. We need the market to start gaining momentum to the upside for us to be interested in now buying Euro JPY, right? So I'll also be keeping that one close for this week. If I don't get opportunities on the best pairs, I'll be paying attention to those other ones. So that is that for Euro JPY. Let's see what we have on GBP card. Now, GBP card, we're expecting to sell this market simply because we are at this major resistance level, right? But price is currently breaking that level, as you can see right here. So I'm still believing that price is actually going to continue selling, just because above that level there's pretty much almost no price action above that level, right? So because we are at that level, I'll still be looking for reasons on anytime I see price shifting structure, right? Anytime I start seeing price shifting structure, I'll be paying attention to this market again, right? Simply because there's no price action at the top. Now, I don't think you guys understand, but this right here, this level, this price action has pretty much been happening for the past 461 days. So for 461 days, price has pretty much not traded above 1.6, sorry, 1.89132, right? So if price doesn't break that level, I'll still be looking for sales on this market. So that's pretty much what I'll be looking for on GBP card, right? Next pair we have is GBP CHF. Daily time frame. Alright, I'm not even interested in GBP CHF. Right, I can't even see a clean price action that I would like. So next pair, USD JPY. I also do not like the price action on USD JPY. So next pair we have will be GBP, Euro GBP. Okay, all right. So now this one might just be a pattern that we are just going to that we have seen time and time again, which we might expect it to happen again. So let me explain what I mean. As you can see, support level right here. Anytime we came to this support level, we bought to this level. Anytime we came to this level, we started looking for the reasons to sell. So we are pretty much buying and selling in this range, right? So this might not really be like very parts of the strategy the way you expect it to be, but we are currently at that level, right? If price doesn't start trading below this level, it simply means that this buy setup will still be valid. So we might just make a decision on if we can continue buying from this level or not, right? So that will be a personal decision on you, right? Me, I'll simply just wait for bullish signs. If you can get any bullish signs, and I'll show you what I'm looking to see. This right here, if you can get a break and retest above this level, right, on the 4 hour time frame and on the 1 hour time frame, I'll be interested in buying this market, right? So what I'll simply be looking for, let me show you guys. First of all, my stop loss is going to be below this level, right? And the reason for that is because for the past, let's see how long. For the past 128 days, price has not gotten to that level. So for price to hit stop loss, it's going to be crazy because it has not gotten to that level for the past 128 days until I enter the market, Abby. So what is simply going to happen? What I'm simply going to be waiting for is for me to start seeing bullish signs. Once price start breaking above this high, EMA start shifting bullish on the 4-hour time frame and on the 1-hour time frame, I'll simply enter this market and buy all the way to this next resistance level, right? So I don't think this is a bad trade, but you can make a decision if you want to take this trade or not, right? Next pair we have Euro NZD. All right, Euro NZD. Let's see, market daily structure is what? Bearish. So clearly the lower low right here, as you can see, and the lower high right here. Price tried to price tried to break above this high, right? But it never closed a body above this high, which means we are still maintaining bearish structure. So daily is bearish. Weekly time frame is also bearish. So we already have two time frame in sync. 4-hour time frame. Alright, 4-hour time frame is also bearish. Now this is also a very clean market I'll be paying attention to for next week, right? Clearly you can see that we are still above area of interest. That is the only reason we are not selling right now. But I'm telling you, if you can have this break and retest under this level, this game plan is still pretty much the same game plan. Then we'll be interested in selling Euro NZD. So I'll be putting this as one of my top pairs for next week, right? So as you can see, we also have a head and shoulder on, where is the NZD? Euro NZD, right? We also have a left head, right shoulder right here. But the EMA is still pretty much bullish. It's still showing bullish signs, by the way, right? I need bearish signs for me to be interested in selling. So I was simply waiting for a break and retest under this level to sell, right? So that is that for that. AUD card, also not a clean price action. AUD JPY. AUD JPY, I believe AUD JPY will continue selling because it has just started selling, right? But the reason I'm not joining in these sales is just simply because look at the market structure. They've clearly been going bullish, right? For me to be looking for sales on this market is just me taking a risk that doesn't make any sense, right? So, but the market structure is bearish and it has retraced, it has had the retracement back into this level, right? I believe that this market might actually continue selling, right? If we can get good market structure, but I will not be interested in selling in a market that's clearly been bullish for a very long period of time, right? So that's that for AUD JPY, and the last pair, USD CHF, also not a clean price action. So the pairs I'll be paying attention to for this week are pretty much a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have 11 pairs. There's no way we are not trading this week, guys. Right? Let's see XAU USD. All right, XAU USD. I was looking for sales around this level. Seems like we did not get it, but I believe that it's still possible that price might continue selling because the market structure is still bearish, right? So that's that for XAU USD. So I'll be making a shorter version of this video to kind of explain the setups again, also to clarify what I've called, right? And then let's get the new week started, right? In order for you guys to join the Telegram channel, just come over to the channel right here, click on this one that says and one more link. If you click on that, then you see this one that says Telegram. Just click on the Telegram channel and join the Telegram channel for potential trade updates, right? So that's pretty much it. I'll be seeing you guys next week.